beautiful, I know, but I do. Toss your baby mama in the air like she a salad.
So the Grammys are over. 2021, everything from 2020 was rounded up. And how do I feel about it? My back hurts. That's how I feel about it. Finally got the people that have won this year. Now, I made some predictions earlier in the year, and we're going to see if any of those were true. I just saw that there was a funny rap nomination or rap win over another album, and I was just like, that's kind of funny. I didn't mean it in like a sarcastic way. That Nas won a Grammy like 10 to 15 years, 20 years after when he should have won one. The Grammys just seem really late in giving people in real time their just due and then making up for it later. I don't anticipate Freddie Gibbs to win a Grammy until, you know, a decade from now, if they're still having them by then. That's how late to the party these people generally are. For record of the year 2021, it is Everything I Wanted from Billie Eilish that wins. I personally chose Colors from Black Pumas. Grammy's super predictable, gave it to Billie Eilish. I mean, I don't really listen to Billie Eilish much, you know, bedroom ASMR music at best to me. But for people who like her, keep listening. Black Pumas will have their time. Taylor Swift wins Album of the Year. I did choose Black Pumas. I understand Taylor Swift winning. I think there's this concept that she's going with on Folklore that's been done better, but I'm not terribly upset with the Folklore win. I would have given it to probably Dua Lipa with Future Nostalgia, but I mean, outside of that, nah, nothing else. I said this 3 months ago that there are two things that you will never be able to continue living your life without seeing, and that is a Billie Eilish nomination and a Her nomination every fucking year. So I'm not surprised that Her won for Song of the Year. Personally, I think I went with The Box from Roddy Ricch, but I wouldn't have been, you know, crazy to expect Billie Eilish or Her to win this category. All right, so Best New Artist, I personally went with Chica because out of everybody in the list, I think she makes the most sense and makes the most quality music consistently, in my opinion. Haven't still listened to her most recent EP. I gotta get on that. But I wasn't surprised that they picked Megan Thee Stallion. The biggest shock of the fucking night is Kaytranada being looked at as a new artist. That's crazy to me. Best Pop Solo Performance, I believe I went with Cardigan from Taylor Swift, but Harry Styles took that one from our White Queen. Best Pop Duo / Group Performance went to, I believe, Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande with Rain on Me, even though personally I chose Exile from Taylor Swift and Bon Iver. I've been wrong this entire fucking time, like every pick. I don't recall giving my opinion on what I wanted the best pop album to be, but after finally listening to Future Nostalgia, I'm not mad that Dua Lipa took the best pop album this year. It certainly is the most creative out of everything else in this list. Best R&B Performance, I do believe I expected Beyonce to win this category, even though personally I believe I gave it to Lightning and Thunder from Jhené Aiko and John Legend. I believe, I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really want Beyonce to take this category because the song was a little bit more hip-hop than it was R&B in my opinion, but I guess it is what it is. It would have been great to see Emily King walk away with something this year, though. Best R&B Song, these are all good songs, so I'm not mad at any of the picks, you know, here. I honestly don't think that any of these are bad songs. I think that they are all listenable. Personally, I believe I went with Collide from Earth Gang, but outside of that, you know, this isn't a bad choice. You know, there was no lose in this category, I feel. Now, while I do believe Ungodly Hours should have won from Chloe X Holly from the Best Progressive R&B album, I'm not mad at all that it is what it is from Thundercat won. I think he deserves it. He's a great artist. While I wasn't a big fan or a huge fan of It Is What It Is, I thought there were some really good standout moments on there. Personally, though, I would have loved to see Chloe X Holly win with Ungodly Hour because that was a great album, even though I forgot to include it in my top 50. Best R&B album, I would have preferred that go to Giveon with Take Time. Out of everything else here, I think it was easily the most interesting and the most refreshing out of everyone to listen to. John Legend, I feel like the R&B music that he generally makes is usually lowest common denominator music to me. You know, that's just my opinion. Not a big John Legend fan. Sorry. Now, here's the one that seemed to get people the most upset, which was the best rap performance going to Megan Thee Stallion for Savage, as opposed to literally anything else on this list. Now, if you're dying for DaBaby Bop to win best rap performances, I think you need to reevaluate your entire existence. But What's Poppin' from Jack Harlow isn't a bad choice, I feel. Personally, I believe I gave it to The Bigger Picture from Lil Baby because it's easily the best rap performance here between that and Deep Reverence by far. So I expected Savage to win for Megan Thee Stallion, and I understand for people who don't understand, I do believe politics play a bit of a role in, choosing from time to time. If we're talking about best rap performance, out of everything here, Big Sean, Nipsey, Lil Baby easily, overtake Savage in terms of quality, in terms of rap performance. They do. I'm not mad at Megan Thee Stallion for winning, but I've heard a lot of people saying that anyone who has a problem with Megan Thee Stallion winning over, Lil Baby and Big Sean and Nipsey are misogynistic. They just don't want to see a woman overtake a man in a category. And honestly, if you just listen to the songs, there are other picks here that are literally better than Savage. But I said it would win 3 months ago. I knew it was going to win, and congratulations to Megan and Beyonce, I guess. And that also isn't to say that Savage from Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce is a bad song. I still think it's a really good song. I still think there's a lot of energy to it. It's a fun song to listen to. But, if we're talking just rap performance, there are other picks here that are better to me. Also, big ups K Tronada and Kali Uchis for their 10% song winning a Grammy. I really like that. Now, I believe for best melodic rap performance, I went with The Box from Roddy Ricch, even though I completely understand Anderson .Paak winning it. His makes the most sense in my opinion, so I think that's a great pick for them. Best rap song, again, winning over The Bigger Picture, in my opinion, just doesn't really make much sense. I just think, I don't know, I don't know if it's just another category for it or whatever the case is. I wouldn't say this one is an odd pick to any degree, because honestly I feel like conscious hip-hop tracks have been acknowledged for a very long time, so I don't see necessarily a problem with, Savage Mode winning over this. If we're talking best rap song, to me, yes, The Bigger Picture should obviously win it, but I don't know, there's something to be said about, a song winning that doesn't necessarily have to talk about anything in particular, one that just embraces someone's power, one that just embraces someone's femininity to a degree. So while I know a lot of y'all probably aren't on that train, aren't on that wave, I'm not mad at that winning. I don't think that rap has to be one of these things where you have to look at one thing as more important than the other. And since this song talks about a topic that's more important, it's immediately better than this other one. Even though I do think it's a better song, if someone were to tell me based off of their preferences that they want to listen to Savage over The Bigger Picture, maybe because The Bigger Picture's concepts and ideas have been talked about and echoed before, then I wouldn't be mad at that. And best rap album is where I come to my thought process once again about the Grammys not necessarily acknowledging art that is supposed to be acknowledged and rewarded in real time. Like, they seem to just be so late on the train. I mean, how Nas gets a Grammy for King's Disease but not fucking Illmatic is insane to me. How Freddie Gibbs is acknowledged with Alfredo, with one of his best releases that it didn't seem like it took him, not to say much effort to do, but one that seemed to just be loosely released last year. Nominated but not necessarily winning one. I just think that's a little strange. I definitely think Alfredo is a much better record than King's Disease. If anything, I would say Nas as a creative kind of regresses from records that he's been nominated for in terms of Grammy status before. So for him to win with King's Disease, what I feel like is a good record as far as the beats that he selected, but in my opinion is one of the weaker releases that he's come out with as far as his bars and writing is concerned, over another record like Alfredo, to me just seems crazy. I mean, the allegory from Royce da 5'9" or Jay Electronica's A Written Testimony could have won this and I still would have been okay with that, but I don't know, it just seems like an easy pick. After 23 years of people calling him like the GOAT, now all of a sudden y'all want to acknowledge it too, in the same year that you acknowledge other acts that I feel outperform him. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like some people that are so adamant about defending the Grammy win in this case are kind of overlooking, it's not necessarily that you win, sometimes it's how you win. For a long time, the Grammys have been known to go with the more popular vote, but this year they proved everyone wrong when they seemed to purposefully snub and kind of not acknowledge The Weeknd's extremely large year. So do I think that this is, something worthy of celebration? Maybe for Nas personally, it may be, but After the community that listens to his music for years and years on end already acknowledging him as one of the greatest of all time, I don't think this record fucking does anything to band-aid the fact that he wasn't acknowledged by them for decades. Sometimes you aren't allowed to play catch-up. Sometimes you have to take your L from the past and do better with the future, which is why I think Alfredo should have gotten the pick. It would have made more sense, in my opinion. To me, the other just feels safe and like, okay, obviously, why wouldn't Nas win? You know, he should have won years and years ago, but it is what it is. You know, I'm not going to sit up here and gripe about the Grammys. I'm not that invested. This is just something that I do as far as acknowledging awards. And I know artists are happy about getting these awards, but in terms of how I look at them, because of how much the word Grammy nominated or Grammy winning does for a smaller act. But in terms of their overall like value, in my opinion, outside of what they can do for a smaller artist, as opposed to an artist that's been huge and been acknowledged by their community years and years prior, I don't think it does shit for them. And I think The Weeknd did right by boycotting the Grammys and not submitting his music anymore. Nas was goated well before the Grammys acknowledged him. Freddie Gibbs was goated well before the Grammys acknowledged him. They don't need their approval, their recognition, or anything of the sort. That's my immature voice speaking, but my actual like business and like logical voice speaking understands the value that Grammy winning or nominated has when it's attached to your name. But outside of that, yeah, Grammys, I don't know. Less and less interest every year. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for watching. And until then, I'm out. Peace.